have so much to study, really, when you think about it. I got good feedback about everything else except for the most obvious things. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those who don't know me, my name is Armita and I'm a second-year pharmacy student in Canada. And this week I have an absolutely insane week. I have 2 exams, actually 3. I have 1 lab exam and then I have a group project, and it's all this week. So today is Monday. I actually just had my first exam. It was it's called FDL, Foundation Drug List, and basically we have to memorize brand name, generic name, dosage forms, all of the doses, indications, contraindications of medications from this year and last year. So there was an insane amount of things that I had to memorize, but thankfully that went okay. It wasn't bad. But now I have to study for an exam I have on Wednesday, which is a pretty big one. It's cardiovascular. And basically I have yet to learn everything. So there's, I think, like 10 lectures, I think, on there. I've watched all of them, I've reviewed some of them, but I haven't fully memorized anything really, and there's a lot on it. So right now I just have to clean the house a little bit because it's an absolute mess, and then I'm gonna make some chili, and yeah, I'll just be studying for the rest of the night, all day tomorrow. Thankfully I don't have classes tomorrow, so I'm just gonna be studying all day. But first I'm gonna clean up and I'm gonna make some food. Whenever I have something kind of like exciting to eat, that's a big motivation for me to be able to study. So we're gonna do that. And also I need a clean space so that I can focus. So if you're interested in watching any of that, then just keep on watching. I'm just gonna put away some of my groceries here. Let's see if I can put you guys up here. And then I'm gonna start cooking up some chili. Does anybody else get excited by cleaning products? Because I found this French lavender scented all-purpose cleaner and I am all for this. So I'm going to be using all of these yummy ingredients. I'm going to use some celery, jalapeno, bell peppers, some garlic, onions, and then here I have some fire roasted diced tomatoes. I really like to use these for chili because it gives it a nice smoky flavor, and I just love that. Tomato paste, red kidney beans. I'm not going to be using all of these, I just have them laid out. And then I had some veggie stock in the fridge, so I'll probably use this just to use it up, but I did get some beef broth, which would have been better. And then for the meat, I'm using a mixture of beef and pork. So right now I just have the meat on medium-high heat, just cooking away. I'm waiting for it to change color, and then this is what I'm gonna use. So some smoked paprika, chili powder, paprika, onion powder, and then I'm probably gonna add some tomato paste, my garlic and onions, and then everything else. And I'm doing it in here because my pot isn't big enough for everything, so then I'm gonna heat that up and transfer everything into there afterwards, along with the diced tomatoes, kidney beans, and then some of the stock. Okay guys, so I added everything in here. I've added the beef broth as well, and I'm just gonna let this come to a boil, and then I'm gonna put the lid on, let it simmer a little bit, and then the kidney beans I'm gonna add in like 45 minutes just because it's already cooked, so I don't want it to get too smushed in here. And yeah, that's it. And here is the finished product. I think it looks pretty good. That looks good. All right, so now it is 5 o'clock. I already had some of my chili, and I'm just sitting here trying to study this huge 200-slide lecture on stable coronary artery disease. And let me show you what I'm doing here. So I have my iPad here with the lecture open, and then while I look at that, I'm trying to condense the notes into this not Google Docs, a Word document, just putting in the like high yield information, because there's 200 slides in the lecture, but not all of them are going to be examinable. So like there's a bunch of detail about the different trials, and she tells us when to star things that are going to come up on the exam. So that's what I've been doing. Like honestly, look at that, 208 slides. There's no way that I'm gonna memorize like all these details, and there's so many lectures. So this is a really good strategy. Just go through and only write down and memorize the stuff that is absolutely going to be tested, like the most important things, because there's a bunch of stuff. Like I guess you'll get a hang of this after you've taken a couple of exams in any professional program. You'll know which things are likely to come up and only study those because there's no time. So while I do that, I'm writing some things down here to help me memorize. This is angina, stable coronary artery disease, and then I'm learning about the different situations where you would give different medications and combos. And I also have a little checklist here of things I want to get done tonight. So I'm on the first lecture here. There's 3 other big lectures that I'm trying to get through tonight. This one is acute coronary syndrome, which is basically like heart attacks. And then we have supraventricular tachycardia, which is a kind of arrhythmia, and then atrial fibrillation, which is another arrhythmia. So these are really interesting things, but definitely a lot of information to study. So I will be here for a while. Thankfully, I don't have class tomorrow, so I can stay up as long as I have energy for, and I really want to get through all 4 of these lectures before I go to sleep tonight, and then I just have tomorrow to study everything else, which is pretty bad. Like I have so much to study, really, when you think about it, and very little time. But honestly, I'm not that stressed. Like I feel like I'll be okay. I will pass. I need at least 60% to pass. And I used to do this thing where I would feel the need to do extremely well, but honestly, after 5 years of undergrad, like I'm already in pharmacy school, grades are important, don't get me wrong. It's really hard for me not to care about my grades, but you know, I'm not gonna feel bad for having done like fun things over the weekend either. I'm not saying go and like waste your time, and I absolutely don't do that, but I definitely haven't studied as much as some other people in my program do. But like, I value my mental health as well. So really, you gotta find like the fine balance. I'm at a point right now where I do well enough, but I also don't deprive myself of things. So try to find that balance for yourself, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. So yeah, I have a lot to do. I have like other extracurricular things as well outside of my classes that I'm doing. So I'm not gonna make myself feel bad for it. I'm just gonna study as much as I can. And then tomorrow I'm probably gonna sleep. This is what I like to do before exams. I sleep earlier, so I go to bed maximum 10 p.m. and then I wake up at like 4:30 a.m. And that way I can review, and by the time my exam's at 8 a.m. So by the time I show up there, I'm already fully awake. So I'm gonna do that tomorrow. So I finally finished my 200 slide lecture. I'm just having some chocolate ice cream now. This is actually pretty good. It's the first time I'm having it. You can't read this, but Western Family Signature Supremely Rich Chocolate Extra Creamy Ice Cream. And it's super good. So I'm just having this. It's like 7 p.m. now. Honestly, I don't know how I wasted so much time. Like, I didn't even waste time. Sorry, tooth freeze. I'm just so slow with studying for some reason lately. Like, I try to actually understand things as I read. I guess maybe that's why I'm so slow, but that's not good. So 3 more lectures that I'm aiming to study tonight, so I'm gonna get back to it with my ice cream. So I just had some lunch. It's about 1:30. I'm gonna go and get some milk because we're all out of milk and eggs. And I want to make some coffee, so I'm going to do that. And this morning I just went through one of our medchem lectures, and then we have this huge lecture on atrial fibrillation. It's like 4 hours long. So I went through half of that, and then I'm going to come back and go through the rest. And then there's another huge lecture that I want to do. I'm kind of trying to get the studying of the huge lectures out of the way first before I'm too tired in the evening, and then I'll just go over the ones that aren't as intimidating. So I'm back, got some milk and eggs, and now I'm just gonna make some coffee. Let me show you guys. So basically, I was just kind of wondering why it is that my exam is tomorrow. I haven't studied everything and I'm not panicking. And to be honest, it's not because there's like a lack of material. It's part 2, the second exam of a cardiovascular module. And for other pharmacy students or medical students out there, you know how huge CV is, or cardiovascular. So honestly, I don't understand why I'm not freaking out, but I'm not gonna complain about it. I feel like at this point in my academic career, I've become good at like not studying everything and just really extracting the information that's most likely to come up on exams. But at the same time, paying attention to the other things that are going to be relevant later on when I'm actually working as a pharmacist. So maybe that's why, because in the past I would freak out. Oh my gosh, there's so many slides, I haven't memorized everything. Like, I don't do that anymore. I feel like I've gotten good at knowing what things are going to be on the exam based on what our professors say. So maybe that's why I'm not panicking, because I mean, some of our lectures have like 200 slides, easy. And there's so much information on each of them. But that's kind of something you learn, I guess, with experience, is don't study everything. You're not gonna have time. It's not gonna be a good use of your mental capacity to just memorize everything. What I do is I really try and understand, because that's ultimately what's gonna help me remember things. If I strictly memorize things, which you have to do for some things, like for our FDL quizzes where we have to memorize drug names, generic brand, and dosages, that's just pure memorization. But for things like guidelines, when to choose what class of medications, you know, things like that, just try and understand. Or like when you're memorizing risk factors for something, don't just memorize the list. Try and think, okay, based on things that I already do know, why is it that sleep apnea would increase the risk of someone having atrial fibrillation, for example? One thing that I thought through today was on one of our slides, it talked about digoxin, which is a drug that's used sometimes in atrial fibrillation. And basically it said one of the things that digoxin does is it inhibits the sodium potassium ATPase, which is a pump on the cell membrane that brings in potassium and pumps out sodium to maintain the membrane potential. So if that's blocked, our slide didn't say anything else, but I kind of thought, okay, well, why is it that that works like that? So based on what I know, if it's not bringing in enough potassium and it's not taking sodium out, sodium's building up inside the cell, and that's probably going to be activating the sodium-calcium exchanger to take out sodium, and when it takes out sodium, it brings in calcium. And so that's why calcium builds up inside the cell, and it causes contraction and increased contractility of cardiomyocytes. And so just like thinking one level deeper than just purely memorizing what's on the slides are really gonna help you connect concepts and just memorize things a lot better. So I'm back. It's kind of later now, 10:20. I went through more lectures, and honestly I feel like at this point I could take the exam and pass and get at least 60%, but I'm gonna get everything ready right now, go to sleep, and then wake up hopefully at 4 and just review some lectures that I haven't reviewed too much. And then my exam is at 8 tomorrow, so I'm gonna leave at 7 so I can get there kind of early. So I find the only way that I can get myself to actually get up that early in the morning is to just have everything ready. And I mean like everything. So basically I like to fill up the kettle with water, put my tea in here, put my cup beside it, like lay out all my clothes, just make my life as easy as possible. And then one more thing is that I will sleep on the couch. Like I will grab my blanket and my pillow and I'll sleep on the couch if I'm waking up super early, like 4 a.m. Which it's something that I don't do very often, but I find that if I'm in bed, I'm just way too comfortable. So when my alarm goes off that early, I'm less likely to actually get up and I'll just snooze it. So if I'm not super comfy, I know it sounds kind of strange, but honestly it works. Like try it sometime. So I'm gonna do that tonight. I'm gonna get everything ready, sleep on the couch, wake up at 4, and review before my exam. Just sat down with my cereal to go over some notes. I'll probably do that for like an hour, hour and a half, and then I'm gonna get ready and go to school and just take the exam. And honestly, whatever happens, happens at this point. I am so over spending so much time behind this desk continuously. Then I have to come back and sit here again for other things. Anyways. So 3 places in therapy would be if the person has symptoms of angina, we would give them beta blocker.
If they have heart failure with reduced ejection fraction, we give them a beta blocker. If they have had a PCI or immediately after MI.
Never gonna use sublingual or short-acting nifedipine. We don't want to do that.
In heart failure, we don't want to use calcium channel blockers.
And then our 2 novel ones are ivabradine and ranolazine. Ivabradine only slows down the heart rate without having an effect on other things. Okay, so I'm dressed now. It's 7 and I'm ready to head out. Might grab a coffee on the way because there's a coffee shop on my way that's open super early. So probably go there and then go and take the exam. So I will let you guys know how it goes. I don't know how ready I am. I've definitely covered everything, but you know, we'll see how hard or easy it is. Hopefully I do well, but yeah, I'll keep you updated. So I just got home. That was kind of an interesting exam. Wasn't as great as I thought. While I was doing it, I thought it was fine. Like, it was, you know, I went through it pretty quickly. But then afterwards, we get a little review session to see how we did. And I got a ton of random questions wrong, which, to be fair, like, they were very tricky. It was all multiple choice, but there was like 5 or 6 choices, and there was just like subtle differences between each of them. So got a couple of things wrong. Wasn't as great as I was feeling it would be while I was writing it, but hey, win some, lose some. This was just our second exam. We have 2 midterms for the cardiovascular module, and then we have 1 final exam that's coming up in not next Monday, but the one after, so like over a week. So hopefully I can do a lot better on that one and just pull up my grade for this module in general, but it is really hard. It's really interesting, but it's hard. It's not like infectious disease where it's just hard and you don't really care because it's just mostly memorization. Like, you actually want to understand how these things work. And cardiovascular disease is so common that, you know, it's just really good stuff to know. So I really enjoy this module. And like, it's only fair for the exams to be difficult because it is a complex issue, especially when people are on multiple medications. And like, obviously, you know, it's hard, but you know, it's okay. I have an exam in lab tomorrow, and then I have to record a presentation online today, but it's only like 10 a.m. right now. I've been up since 4:30, so I feel like it's been so long, but it's still the morning. So I'm probably gonna take a little break. I might make some food and then record my presentation. And for tomorrow, it's a counseling session. It could be really on any medication we've learned so far, but the difference is that we can't use any online resources. So previously, and like last year, we got to use our laptop, so you could have notes on there, you could search up your resources online. But because our like board exams give you only paper resources, I guess they want like for us to train to use paper resources only, so they're just giving us those the CPS books. They're like huge books, so nobody really knows how to use it, and like, it takes time to flip through it. So hopefully you know, it'll be fine. It's our first time using it, and there's a lot more that goes into counseling than, you know, having to read up on things. So how you talk to the patient, background information gathering, being responsive to any empathy cues, going over the prescription thoroughly, and you know, so you would get a lot of points for those things. So I feel like it'll be okay. Like, if I forget a side effect, I'll just ask them to wait while I flip through that huge book and find it. But yeah, I'll just do some light prep, but otherwise I'm gonna take it a little bit more slow today because obviously I've been studying nonstop, and you know, 2 more days to go until the weekend. I can do it. Hello, so I just wanted to give a quick update. Actually, let me put you guys here. So I just got home from lab. We had stations that we rotated through and just did different scenarios and things to prepare for our final exam, which is this huge exam that's pass or fail. But it's really similar to what we have to do for our OSCE and like board exams, where it's station by station. Some of them are interactive, like we'll have a patient that we counsel on about something, over-the-counter recommendations, things like that. Some of them are non-interactive, like prescription checking, answering drug info requests by physicians, things like that. So we had that, and then one of our stations today was an exam. That was like a counseling scenario on a prescription, and that went okay. It went pretty well, except for the fact that I was so tired that my brain literally wasn't working. The prescription was I got good feedback about everything else except for the most obvious thing. So I'm not mad though. I mean, we've had exam after exam, and like I've just been so tired this week that I guess my brain just froze. Whatever, it happens. So that's done. And then I just have one online lab today. And so I'm just gonna chill, have some butter chicken that I made yesterday, watch some Grey's Anatomy, and then do that. And then finally tomorrow's Friday and I can relax. Yeah, so I guess I'll just end the vlog here because the majority of my studying and like exams are already done. So I hope you enjoyed seeing a few stressful days in my life, how I prepare close to exams. And yeah, so let me know if there's anything else you'd like to see. If you like the cooking part of my video, I personally love to watch other people cook. For some reason, I find it really therapeutic. So yeah, just let me know what you'd like to see, and I'm gonna start filming a lot more. I want to be like more consistent on YouTube. It's just a really nice hobby as well, given everything else that I have to do. So yeah, I hope wherever you are, whatever you're studying or not studying, if you're working, I hope you're doing well, everything's going well. Leave me a comment down below letting me know if you're also a pharmacy student. And yeah, so I will talk to you soon. Bye.